welcome to today's video. I kind of forgot to prepare something for today. I know that sounds really unorganised and bad, but I have lots of ideas, but I kind of forgot that I was supposed to be filming today and I didn't plan what I was going to actually talk about, and therefore I've kind of just come up with an idea which I hope you enjoy. I thought I'd share with you today my 5 makeup products that I would personally get from the drugstore if, say, my entire drugstore collection went missing, what I would replace first. I don't necessarily think that you have to get drugstore items, but it's nice to treat yourself every now and then, and if you've got that option, these are the products that I would recommend investing in first before going on to other products. I personally love high-end skincare. I know it's quite expensive, but it's your skin and it kind of sits on there for a really long time, so I feel like it's worth investing a little bit more. The other thing that obviously sits on your skin for the entire day is foundation, and although there are some excellent drugstore foundations, there are also some amazing high-end ones, and most of the high-end foundations I've tried are actually really good. Of course, there's a few here and there that aren't. For example, I really hate MAC foundations. I do not get on with them. They break me out like no other. So that's something I steer clear of. Otherwise, I think it's really worth investing in a high-end foundation. The other thing that you also get with high-end products is someone to help you choose. So there's someone there that can help you choose a finish and also a shade. And I know we all kind of struggle a little bit choosing our own foundation shade, so it's quite nice to have someone help you. Of course, still use your common sense. If you think it's a bit orange, don't get it because they tell you it's the right colour, and go outside and kind of check what it looks like. But the Armani Luminous Silk is an excellent foundation. I personally love the YSL ones as well. Chanel do some beautiful foundations, and although it's not easily accessible in the UK, I do think the Makeup Forever HD foundation is one of the best. Then I love high-end bronzers. I think often the drugstore ones are a little bit orange and the high-end ones don't tend to be quite as orange, but obviously there's still a bit of everything in both places. But some of my favourites are the Benefit Hoola and then also the Chanel Soleil Tan de Chanel, which is kind of like a cream bronzer. Mine looks a bit gross. And then for powder one, the Benefit one. They're both just a really good colour. Not too orange or anything like that, but they still warm up the skin beautifully. I particularly like this one in summer, and I've had this one for ages and it's lasted me really long actually. Then staying on cheeks, I think blushes are also a lovely high-end product to have. I don't know if people necessarily notice you changing blusher shades, although they usually do notice there's something on your cheeks. So I think you could kind of get away with one good staple one. If you've got the money, the Tom Ford cheek colours are excellent. This one's in Ravish, but they are pretty pricey. However, my favourite of the moment, I kind of think it'll end up being one of my favourite ever, is the Laura Mercier blushes in Rose Petal. They're called Second Skin Cheek Colours, and this is just the perfect colour always. Like, I just can't get enough. I'm not too sure why they pop out though. I should probably know that, but I don't. But I'm definitely going to look into a few more of these, and if you are looking for a high-end blush, definitely check out the Laura Mercier ones. But everyone kind of do quite good ones. The drugstore ones tend to be slightly more chalky than the high-end ones. It's worth spending a little bit more money. They last forever anyway because they tend to be quite pigmented, and I just love this Laura Mercier one. It's excellent. Then on to eyeshadows. I kind of don't think the drugstore does eyeshadows that well. They do them okay, but if you want something that's really intensely pigmented, really soft and creamy, then I think high-end is the way to go. Especially since they're that little bit easier to blend. The Naked palette is like a must-have. You don't have to think about it. The original one is my personal favourite, and I've had this for a really long time, probably about 3 years actually. And I know some of you can tell me that's too long, but it's been for personal use and I don't really think that there's anything wrong with it. They are powders, but I haven't made a dent in them and I use them religiously. Also, kind of a little bit newer to me is the Dolce Vita Luxury Palette by Charlotte Tilbury. These are stunning, and I know that some people get a little bit overwhelmed by the amount of shadows in an Urban Decay palette, so I think that the Charlotte Tilbury is a great alternative for colours. You can kind of go in, they can show you where to position them and stuff like that, but they're really versatile, beautifully soft and really easy to use as well, so definitely worth looking into. Either one of these two are definitely my favourites. And And then my final pick is lipsticks. And if I'm completely honest, this is completely superficial, but I love high-end lipsticks, mainly because of their packaging. YSL, just stunning, stunning packaging. Charlotte Tilbury's beautiful packaging. Tom Ford, just the most beautiful thing ever. And if we compare them to something like Revlon, which is nice, but they're just a little bit cheaper. I think every now and then you just have to splurge on a really beautiful lipstick. As sad as it sounds, they make me that little bit happier as well, especially like the gold blinginess of them. I think invest in a nice red, for example Tom Ford's Crimson Noir, and then a nude as well, like Pink Dusk, also Tom Ford. Bear in mind, Tom Ford is one of the most expensive high-end brands, so if you don't have the budget for Tom Ford, don't feel you have to get Tom Ford. Yes, they're a beautiful lipstick, but they're just a luxury, and YSL's pretty much just as beautiful and a lot cheaper, like £15 cheaper. If that's still a little bit too much, go for MAC. The packaging isn't quite as beautiful as YSL and Tom Ford. However, the quality is great and the packaging is still pretty nice. I think once again, go for a red such as Ruby Woo, and then a nude as your first two. This one here is Pure Zen. I am addicted to MAC lipsticks at the moment because they are expensive-ish, but they're actually quite reasonable if we compare them to Tom Ford, because you can get 3 of these for the price of a Tom Ford, but they are beautiful. And that's the end of my video. Those are the 5 items that I personally would splurge on if all of my high-end makeup collection went missing. I would probably cry as well before purchasing everything. But I think that every now and then you need to treat yourself. I'm not suggesting go out and buy all this at the same time, but that's what I would personally get. And Tom Ford lipsticks are always on my birthday and Christmas wish list. They are just so lovely, and I think they make a really beautiful gift. Let me know below if you enjoyed this video. I'll see you all soon and have a lovely day. Bye.